Okay, so we've been gone for a year, but let's see what the world is up to. Oh dear God, I think we have a Hoenn remake. Generation 3 has got to be one of my favorite generations of the entire Pokemon franchise. Partly because growing up with Gen 1 and mostly Gen 2, I didn't think there was going to be any more Pokemon games coming out. So when Ruby and Sapphire came out, I was completely blown away. Everything looks so polished and colorful, much more than the first two generations. And new Pokemon! Gotta love the new Pokemon! And due to the fact that we're getting a remake in a couple of days, I thought this would be good a time as any to talk about our favorite Trumpet Land. Now, I am very aware that there are a lot of people who hate this generation, but I am not one of them. I am completely in love with almost everything about it. So today we're going to be counting down the top 10, yep, it's going to be one of these vids, coolest things about the Hoenn region. Number 10. This is a strange one, a very small issue I doubt a lot of people care about. So that's the reason it's so low on the list. But honestly, it's so adorable to me, I had to put it on here. In most of the Pokemon games, you start off in your hometown with your mother along with having your own room. Your bedroom usually consists of pretty normal bedroom items like a TV, a game console, dressers, a PC, and of course, a bed. The cool thing about these beds is that you can walk into them, you would appear as if you were actually laying in it. Same thing happens with the hot springs and the dirt mounds in Lava Ridge Town. Look at me, I'm having a dirt bed! Oh, look at me, I'm bathing with old ladies! Oh, ew, no, get me out of here! Anyway, cool, huh? Okay, it's a personal one then. Okay, so it's not that great, but it was one of the first little snippets of differences that I noticed in the newer games. But it's not really something they program anymore, especially with the new 3D X and Y format. You can't even sit on your bed. Come on, even Animal Crossing you can lay on it. I need a rest, I'm out here saving the world from evil organizations. Number 9. Ah, it's November, you know what that means. Thanksgiving Macy's Day Parade. Imagine watching that Macy's Day Parade, and then staying tuned afterwards to watch Purina Dog Show. You know what would make that dog show even more exciting? Yeah, fire, electricity, darkness. Huh. Maybe not. But that's why we have Pokemon contests. The contest began in this generation, in which a coordinator enters a Pokemon of theirs in 1 of 5 categories. Coolness, beauty, cuteness, smartness, and toughness. You use attack moves to impress the judges and gain points to win ribbons. In all honesty, the contests themselves aren't really anything to get real excited about. They're pretty simple to win, and the most you'll really get out of it is getting to see all those cool ribbons on your Pokemon afterwards. Plus, I love feeding them Pokeblocks. Ah, look at them! Eat it! Eat it! You will eat the Pokeblock! They are good for you! But the creation of the Pokemon contest began a spark of new events, for lack of better words, side quests in the games. They soon evolved into the Pokemon musicals, the movies in black and white, and even the PR videos in X and Y. From here on out, there's no telling what they can come up with. Pokemon racing? Pokemon presidents? Pokemon battling? Oh. They already do that. Number 8. Bicycles in these games have been a must-have item. Who wants to just walk everywhere? Bikes help you get places faster, and who doesn't love those catchy little tunes they play every time you get on one? Unfortunately, you would never get this item too early in the game. For at least 2 or 3 cities, you're stuck walking everywhere.
But not in this generation. See, the Hoenn scientists have come up with this awesome new item called the running shoes. We couldn't come up with this before, people!
The running shoes are given to you by your mother right before you leave home on your Pokemon journey. They're applied right away, and by pressing B, you now have the ability to run. Wow, look at you go, you're like Speedy Gonzales.
Now, while the running shoes are nifty, they're obviously not as fast as the bikes, but they'll get you around pretty quickly until you do get the bikes.
Moving on to the bikes, yes, that is plural. At Rydell's Cycle Shop, you have 2 bikes to choose from, the Mach Bike and the Acro Bike. The Acro Bike travels at the speed of a normal bike, but can also do tricks such as wheelies and the bunny hop. Sure, they're fun to do, but the bunny hop can actually help you reach certain areas that you couldn't reach before. The Mach Bike, on the other hand, travels at the friggin' speed of light. And while they are extremely fast, they are very hard to control. If you run into something while you're on this bike, all your momentum is lost and you have to start over at the slowest speed. But these bikes also help you get to certain areas, like the muddy slopes you see around. Now, you can only have one of these bikes at a time, so if you want the other one, you have to go back to the shop and switch it out. I tied these two because the separate bikes were only used in Ruby and Sapphire and never any other generation, making it pretty special. The running shoes, however, revolutionized the different modes of travel in the games, and even now I find myself running almost all the time.
But honestly, even as hard as it was to control the Mach Bike, I kind of find myself missing it a little bit. I can see God! Number 7. So first, let's talk about your rivals in the past 2 generations, Blue and Silver, or as I like to call them,
Blue in Gen 1 was the original douchebag. Always making fun of you, calling you names, smelling you later. What does that even mean? And he pisses you off so much you just want to beat his face in every time you battle him. Even when he tries to catch you off guard in the end at the Elite Four. Who does that? You little jerkwad, I will bury you! Silver, on the other hand, was a damn criminal. He steals a Pokemon and calls you weak the entire game. Not as infuriating as Blue, but he does end up, I guess, repenting in the Dragon's Den. Also in the Gold and Silver remakes, they developed his lore even more by making him the son of Giovanni. A little delinquent. But back to Ruby and Sapphire, in these games you're actually given 2 rivals. Yes, these games are the first that incorporate the concept that if you choose the male, then your female counterpart will be your rival, and vice versa if you chose the girl. Your rival is your new neighbor and the child of Professor Birch. They're the first rival that's actually friendly towards you and still puts up somewhat of a fight. Then you have your second rival, Wally. Wally's a sickly kid who you agree to help out when he wants to catch a Pokemon to befriend. His parents are against him leaving home because of his illness, but he ends up convincing them later to leave. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Wally is a pushover. He's much easier than Brendan or May, and you often feel bad about defeating him. But I really like his character, even more than your actual rival.
Why is this on the list? More experience! You know, I mean, can you imagine how much experience you get from one rival? Now you have 2 rivals. Give me 10 rivals in the next game. I'll kick their ass, kick their dog's ass, I'll kick my own ass. Number 6.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys, when I first saw most of these, I thought they looked weird. I'm gonna piss off a lot of people by saying I still don't really think Blaziken looks that cool. Like, his feathers on his head look really stiff, and the colored sections on his legs look like they've been stacked like Legos. And although I do love the Eon duo, they also look very segmented to me, and that's weird. A lot of them look like this, and I find it strange because I don't really see any other generation do that. By the time Sinnoh came around, a lot of these blocky segments seem to have been smoothed out. But other than that, half of these guys really look amazing. Beautifly, Milotic, Altaria remain to be some of the most beautiful Pokemon I have ever seen. We got some adorably sweet babies like Roselia and Plusle Minun twins. Remember Clambrel? Sweet sleeping prince. Oh, my cupcake Chimecho. Oh my god, he's one of my favorites. Then we get these awesome looking ones like Swellow and Zangoose, Absol. Not to mention the creation of one of the coolest dragons ever, Flygon. Where's his Mega Evolution? I have to admit, a lot of these continue to be some of my favorite Pokemon. And I find that weird since I initially thought them to look a little funny.
Number 5. has been so loving and just an amazing person throughout all of these games.
Oh, is your time messed up? Well, she'll set your time for you. You know all that money that you keep sending back to her? She saves it for you. She saves your money. Thank you, I finally have a savings account. Your room's probably getting pretty dusty, and what does she do? She cleans your room for you. What? Oh my goodness, what a sweetheart. When you've had a rough journey and you're coming home and you're all beat up and crap, she heals you and your Pokemon. Yes, gives you a rest. You've been walking around so much, your feet are hurting. What does she do? She gives you running shoes. That is just amazing. But sometimes I feel like something's missing. Or like, I don't know, someone.
I mean, does anybody have a dad in this world? Do they even exist? And do I have one or not? Just have to come to terms with the fact that I don't have a dad. Oh wait, yeah I do.
That's right, Ruby and Sapphire were the first Pokemon games to give you an actual existing father. And he ain't no deadbeat either. Norman's the normal type gym leader of Petalburg City. He introduces you to your new punching bag, Wally. It won't battle you until you have at least 4 gym badges. That's right, Daddy Norman ain't babying you no more. This concept actually having a dad in these games is so foreign to me. Can you believe that this is the only game in which you have one? I mean, some can argue that Red's father died the great Pokemon War theory. We find out next and why that Dad was killed by Mom and a Rhyhorn. Oh, you didn't catch that? Yeah, go talk to your mom sometime. She says it like it's no big deal. It's crazy. And will somebody tell me why Pearl gets an awesome freaking dad in Gen 4, yet yours is nowhere to be found? I guess it kind of makes up with your awesome mom, who's apparently an ex-coordinator. So yeah, moms are always going to be there for us in Pokemon, but if I'm yearning for that father figure, I'm going back to Hoenn in all its fatherly glory.
Number 4. So in every generation, we get Team Bad Guy.
Yeah, you know, Team Bad Guy, always trying to steal Pokemon, take over the region, or the world, or the universe. And honestly, I don't really know where it goes from there. The criminal gangs are always present in these games and act as a really cheap comic book-like antagonists. But I think that's the attraction to them. You're so used to fighting these evildoers that you kind of stop and wonder, man, what if there was an alternate route in which you could join these guys? Well, in Gen 3, you can. Well, you don't necessarily get to be the bad guys. Depending on which game you got, they serve as the heroes. If you got Sapphire, Team Aqua wants to flood the world, and you team up with Team Magma to stop them. Same if you got Ruby. You team up with Team Aqua to stop Team Magma from drying up the planet. It's fun! It's like you got your own gang! Though this concept is done away with in the 3rd installment in Pokemon Emerald, where the main Pokemon is Rayquaza, and the team leaders Maxie and Archie are reduced to childlike politicians arguing over whose ideas are better. And what happens in the end? Rayquaza stops Kyogre and Groudon from destroying the world, goes back up to his Sky Palace, and Maxie and Archie are just go like, herp-a-derp-derp, I guess we can go home now. This is the only generation that has 2 teams that you can fight against, and are also fighting each other. This makes it very original. And so what if you don't get to beat bad guys? Teaming up for a storyline is enough for me at the moment.
It almost makes certain ships canon. Almost.
Number 3. Let's go back in time for a moment. You're a kid. With the access of tables, chairs, blankets, pillows, it's clubhouse time, and no boys allowed. You can have anything. You could be anything here. Look at all these dolls.
Okay, so clubhouses are just as fun as adults as they were as kids, and that's why I am completely in love with the secret bases.
Secret bases began in this generation as well. Upon using the Pokemon move Secret Power on a specific area, the player can find a small crawl space area that they can decorate as their own place. Now, there are only certain spots to make your base. Yeah, you can't just build it anywhere. These spots are only identified in the outside as either a large tree, a bush, an indention, or a rock in a wall. The interiors, however, can vary immensely. Items you decorate with go anything from mats and pictures, furniture to toys, dolls, figurines. Most of these items you can buy at department stores, you get them through Mystery Gift.
Now that's cool and all, but the only way for your friends to see your base was for you to show it to them through your game, or if you mix your records. And that is where Gen 4 tried to up the concept.
In Generation 4, the secret bases are thrown underground along with the mining minigames. And while I do miss the green look of the tree and bush-like bases, I think these bases were so much more fun. You had a lot more cool game-like objects, the graphics obviously look better. By getting online, you can hang out with a friend in their base. Sadly, I feel like most people didn't get how to make these in the games. They threw it into the underground, which was new at the time, and the only way to get toys and furniture was to mine for gems and trade them with that one hiker dude. And maybe that's why it was done away with in Gen 5, even though a lot of people did enjoy it.
And who couldn't? It's like all the fun of Pokemon and Animal Crossing. And I have an absolute need to put all these guys somewhere.
Number 2.
These games have had some of the loudest f***ing music I have ever listened to. I think we need more brass, people.
Now, we have to remember, we're coming from Gold and Silver's 8-bit music. When suddenly we get a parade of brass instruments. It was amazing that most of this music didn't sound like it was coming from a synthesizer. Not to diss on 8-bit music, because it's awesome too, but I was completely blown away by these tracks. Everything sounds so upbeat and powerful. But it also equals out with a couple of nice, gentle sounding songs. As a matter of fact, I'm finding it hard to find any songs that I didn't enjoy. I'm so in love with this entire soundtrack. I feel like I've been trying to squeeze all of my favorite tracks into this one review, actually. Somebody stop me. I actually remember that back when people didn't believe that we were getting a Ruby and Sapphire remake, I saw a lot of these images stating, hey guys, could you imagine if we got a Hoenn remake? And it'd have all these pictures of Kyogres and Groudons and trumpets and horns. These were of course brought back when we did find out there was gonna be a remake. But there's a reason why all these images have a similar instrumental joke. Hoenn's music was some of the most fun and memorable of all the generations, and I still enjoy it to this day. And that's the entire soundtrack.
Number 1.
So you guys are aware of the planet Earth, right? Yeah, of course you are. Look at all the stuff on the planet. We have beautiful and interchanging natural landscapes, and even the man-made cities have an awesome look to it. What a crazy world we live in. I wish I could see more of this in video games. Oh wait, Hoenn did just that! I mean, look at all what they put into the landscape. We have a desert, we can go underwater, we got beaches and monstrous volcanoes that even have volcanic ash-soaked grass below it. And let's not forget about the cities either. These are some of the most creative cities I have ever seen in Pokemon games. We have multiple island towns, a city where the residents live in the trees, one where they live on the water. How does that work? And oh my god, they're living in an old volcanic crater. Huh! And you can only get there by flying or diving underwater? Who do they think they are? The lost city of Atlantis? All these environments amaze me so much. I still love how creative and cultural they got in these games. And out of everything I have already mentioned on this list, this is what I look forward to most in the remake. How much better they can make these places look with the new age graphics.
It almost makes me want to go outside. You know what? I will. Hello, beautiful world! Oh my god, it's freezing! We have hit a cold front. And that concludes my totally irrelevant topic as to why Hoenn is so cool.
Actually, going back on what I said, why do people hate Gen 3? Sure, it can be dumb at times, but look at all this cool stuff they gave us. If anybody has an answer for this, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear some opinions. But for now, Hoenn's new concepts, Pokemon, music, characters, and even the landscapes are some of the coolest additions to the Pokemon games I've ever seen. I've loved them for this long, and I cannot wait to relive them in the remakes.
So thank you all again, my sweet baby mushrooms, for watching. I'm Pink Mushroom. Stay breezy and keep on the Poke grind. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going into hiding for a couple days till November 21st.